Kochie's Business Builders is proudly brought to you by our partner KPMG, who are helping small businesses grow.
Coming up on Kochie's Business Builders, how Korean casual dining has become an Aussie franchise success story. Fresh business tips for female founders, plus we meet the entrepreneur making fast food with a difference. G'day and welcome to a special episode of Kochie's Business Builders, where we'll be taking a deep dive into the success story of a local franchise business that was dreamt up by a bunch of uni mates. Meet June Lee. June is the co-founder and executive director of Gami Chicken, a Korean chicken and beer joint that has taken Victoria by storm. Since launching the first restaurant in Melbourne in 2006, Gami now has 37 stores and is closing in on 42 casual dining locations across Victoria, WA, South Australia, New South Wales and the ACT by the end of 2023. It's a massive growth trajectory and I can't wait to pick June's brain on the business. June, great to see you. What a success story. Tell us how you dreamt it up.
Well, it really came from basic needs. About more than 20 years ago, when we were very young at uni, we find ourselves very challenged to find good restaurant with very affordable, good Asian cuisine, but also with late hours operation, with welcoming environment.
Okay, so I can imagine a bunch of uni students having a few beers going, oh, where can we find this sort of food? But then it took 10 years for you to actually start it. What was the inspiration after those 10 years to turn the talk into walk?
Well, to be honest with you, we are very young then.
Right.
We are young, inexperienced, and we thought the best way of learning skills that we needed is to learn from industry experts and leaders. So what we have decided is that let's learn our way up first to go and work for some world-leading companies, and then to acquire such a skills that we need. And then let's do something together with those skills. And it took about 10 years.
Wow. So you had the idea, but thought, hey, we're babes in the wood. Let's go and work for the experts and come back in 10 years later with all of that experience together.
Yes.
It's hard starting a business with any partners, but particularly mates. How difficult was that? And how did you set up that you could still run a business and be mates at the same time?
I still have a lot of laughs and tears every single day because working and starting business with mates is very, very different from you're working in the corporate environment where you can find professional teammates. It's really due to the nature of the relationship that you have because it's very informal. And that actually brings good pros and cons on the table. Pros can be when we are making decisions, it's very fast. We know our weaknesses and strengths, so we can make great synergy between us. But it's when we can agree.
What about when you disagree? How do you sort it?
It can take a bit longer time than corporate environment to close the gap between friends. And it takes a lot more effort and understanding of each other. So it's pretty good balance. But I think aging does help because we became a lot wiser now on how to deal with each other.
So do you each have different areas of responsibility?
Yeah.
And how do you carve that up? And is that the secret? If there's a dispute, the person with the expertise always wins?
Not necessarily, because sometimes it's team spirit. Out of many disagreements along the way, we have come out with this analogy, and we actually live by this. We agreed that we are actually building a ship, and we are trying to make the sail of it. When you are sailing the ship, it's not just one function leading the ship. Right. You have to take the role of the captain. You have to you take care of somebody that has to take care of the desk. Somebody has to take care of the engine. It's different functionality working together make the sale of the ship. So if we can agree on the fact that we are sailing the ship together, doesn't really matter which function comes in which timing. But captain sometimes make the call.
Right, the captain's call.
Yes, and then being the eldest in Korean culture, which I am, I was nominated to be a captain. So sometimes I do make the decision on behalf of the others.
Okay, all right. Lots more questions to ask you. Stay around. Coming up, Aussie franchises are booming. So are they a good investment? Welcome back to Kochie's Business Builders. Did you know that Australia has more franchising outlets per capita than any other country in the world except New Zealand? Plus, 90% of Australian franchises are homegrown success stories. And in fact, the franchise sector in Australia has been growing by leaps and bounds since the 1970s. Of course, when it comes to franchising, we often think of food or gym outlets as the first port of call. But it may surprise you to know that Australia's fastest growing franchises are in the administration and support services. June, this is right up your alley. Gami Chicken is open to franchise. How important to you and the growth of the business was it to franchise?
Once upon a time, I was franchisee of some other brands too. And what I have learned from those experiences is that franchisee is core to the business. So having them success is a lot more important than making good expansion sometimes. And I call that organic growth.
Because you took a long time between opening your first store and your second store. Why did that take so long?
When we opened the first store, we are actually running a restaurant. And the running a restaurant is different from running a franchise. And then because a franchise system has to make sure that our franchise model is scalable, expandable. So we took a time to make sure that we develop those systems and test it first before we sell it. Because we didn't want to have our franchisee undergoing bad experiences while they are doing franchise business with me, because eventually they are my business partners. I want them to grow successful. So we test it first before we start doing something. And then, so I was franchisee of myself. We tested for a couple of years, and then we made sure that, okay, this restaurant under a franchise system can work, and then making good profit.
Right.
And then we started it.
So is that the secret? If somebody's interested in a franchise, they need to look behind the brand at the processes to make sure they've all been completed before taking it up.
Yeah, they have to make sure to look for the franchise system which has been tried and tested. It's easier for take the word from the brand because it looks very nice and then it looks working. But you actually have to see and do your own due diligence to research whether the market, does it provide a good business opportunity? Does it have a lot of competition in there? Or even in the competition, do they have a competitive advantage as a brand? More importantly, how do they support you? Not supporting a franchise system as a whole, but individually. Because your market is not necessary to be the same as other stores sometimes. So do they listen to you? Can you pick up the phone call to talk to the owner of the brand? How often do they come out to provide training? Are they free? Do they charge for that? All that factors is very important factors for you to consider before you choose any brand.
June, that is a great checklist that anyone interested in a franchise should be going through. Stick around, loving talking to you. But after the break, we meet an entrepreneur whose fresh Mex restaurant has changed the fast food landscape. Well, do you know, Kochie's Business Builders has a website. It's a great place to find all the latest business news, advice and tips to succeed. Check it out now at www.kochiesbusinessbuilders.com.au and get your fix of small business inspiration.
The inspiration was growing up in Southern California and going down to San Diego as a kid and eating these incredible burritos after a day at the beach. That was really when Mexican food and I fell in love. Hi, I'm Clovis Young, and I'm the founder of Mad Mex. Our mission was to kind of change the fast food world. We actually had a real problem with fast food, and we thought it wasn't good food and the way they make it and the ingredients they use. So part of the inspiration behind Mad Mex was to create really good, high-quality food that would be as fast or faster than, kind of your traditional fast food. It's about having fresh ingredients that are real food that's cooked in the restaurant, and we bring spices and we bring all kinds of things from Mexico to make it super authentic. Each stage has these big challenges. Getting from 1 to 5 stores, we had to find a way to get the recipes and the food consistent. So there's a whole lot of work to make sure we could scale and then deliver that consistency. From 20 to 40 stores is about trying to figure out how to bring teams along the journey. It's all about inspiring people to go out and deliver that incredible customer service and make great products every day. It's about being connected, and connected is with each other, because human beings, we need to be connected with each other. We want to run teams, we want to like the people we work with, and we want to be connected with customers, because customers come in and they want to know that they're more than just $10 spend. Welcome, how are you, how's your day? That interaction is critical, I think, to what we all kind of need as humans and what we deliver as a business. The values, they do solidify what we do really well. They help bring cohesion to our teams, and then ultimately, hopefully, it delivers a better experience to customers. When we grew to 40 or 50 stores, one of the things we really struggled with was how do we communicate these core principles that we hold dear? And we found the values, and having a values-led business was a powerful way to kind of help everyone understand what we stood for and why we do what we do. The team is critical to Mad Mex success. We've got 40 to 50 people in our support office. We've got 1,000 people running the restaurants. It really is 1,000 people working together to make each customer happy. To build a culture where people want to come to work, we do a couple things. We work collaboratively, so it's not a top-down business model. We try to build the strategy together as a team. And we use a lot of reward and recognition. So we use something called Bien Chingones cards, which means like a bloody awesome, but with bad Spanish words. So we hand out Bien Chingones cards to the team when people do good work, right? It's about being rewarded or recognized for what you do. And then it's about this kind of values and make sure we're all aligned and working kind of towards a higher purpose. My stepfather gave me the great business advice when I started Mad Mex, which was, it'll take 5 years of blood, sweat, and tears for you to know if you've been successful or not. So it's really that kind of idea that you got to pick a point on the horizon, and you've got to work very, very hard for a sustained period of time. If you're going to start a business today, it's super competitive. The landscape's challenging. The operators that you're competing with are very good. So whatever you're doing has to really stand out. It has to be exceptionally good from a product, and your service has to be exceptionally good. And those two factors need to be kind of wow-worthy.
After the break, how Gami Chicken grew its national footprint. Plus, Dr. Ginni shares her top tips for women in business.
Hey, I'm Dr. Ginni Mansberg. I am the Sunrise GP, but I'm also the co-founder of ESK, Evidence Skincare, as well as Don't Sweat It, which is a menopause in the workplace company. Now, as a woman, we're often told that it's a bit icky to be an entrepreneur and to want to raise revenue and actually get a decent income. Well, here are my top 3 tips to how to overcome all of that. The first thing is change your mindset. It is totally fine for women to actually want a decent income, and it's not binary. It's not you're either ethical and a carer or you're an entrepreneur. You can actually be both and be really good at both. The second thing is you do need to know basic accounting. Now, I'm not talking about going and doing a commerce degree at uni, but just getting familiar with a cash flow statement, an income statement, just understanding a balance sheet. Those sorts of things won't take you very long. And just think of it as another language. It's like learning French. Those numbers, they will all start to tell you a story once you get to know the language of really basic finance. And the third tip is find your tribe. Find the people that you can network with, get support from, often other women, but even people of all genders can actually help you on your entrepreneurial journey. Good luck with all of that.
Welcome back to Kochie's Business Builders. Well, today we've been chatting with June Lee, co-founder of Gami Chicken, about growing and running a business, in his case, with his mates. June, the entrepreneurial journey has its ups and downs, good and bad times. There's a lot of risk involved. What were some of the biggest risks for you and your business partners?
Well, actually, expanding into franchise model and expanding into new interstate was actually a big risk for us when we are growing predominantly in Victoria, because you can't really leverage your local fame and brand awareness that you were able to build up for a long time. But when you're going into new market, you are a very new player. So we have to assume that nobody knows about us. Nobody tried our food yet. So what we had to do was we had to rebuild the brand from the scratch, that pretending that we are very new brand which just got launched. And also we have to think what kind of competitive advantage we can leverage. We certainly did a hard job to make our good business system here. Can I leverage some of that into the new market? We had to reassess our brand, reassess our supply chains, reassess our business product, whether that's gonna work in the new product.
So it's almost like starting from scratch.
Yes.
Was that a big learning for you?
It was very much indeed. We thought that, as in Australian, we thought if we could actually do fine work in one area, we thought that can be leveraged automatically. In fact, consumers are smarter enough not to take that for granted. So we had to reassess what people need in that area, who they are, why do they choose the brand when they're going out, and what's the needs for them. And then we had to redevelop our product to cater those needs. Then when we are launching, we have to cater our messaging for our consumers too. Because if you are a family builder, and then if I message you as a very socially connected person in a very young age, you wouldn't buy my message. And that doesn't really attract you. So we had to restudy our brand, and we had to redevelop things.
And is every state different, or when you built the process of going to one state, was that the blueprint for all of the others?
Well, as much as I would like to say Australian market shares common ground, in fact, we know it's very different. It can be. Senior-siders have different needs, or they have a very different criteria when they choose a brand. Whereas South Australian, they don't drive more than 25 minutes. It's kind of part of their life. And Melbournians, we drive a lot more to go to one restaurant because we can. So in different needs actually make their buying behavior very different, and then their choosing criteria different. We had to understand what they are, even though when we are providing same product, how we can deliver that to those markets uniquely. That's very important.
What role does innovation play?
At every stage of our business, innovation plays a huge role. For example, in our research and development, innovating our ingredients or recipe for new cooking methodology has led us to be able to respond very quickly to very current challenging market, such as inflation, because we were able to provide better quality product at lower cost. And that was enabling us to make whole new product range at way affordable pricing, but still providing good value for our customers.
Right.
Yeah.
Gee, you've got that balance. A lot of other big franchises haven't and have been treated poorly on the stock market as a result of it. So I think a lot of people would love your secret to success in that regard. Gin, it's been absolutely fascinating chatting with you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And sharing all of your tips today. Really appreciate it. Fantastic business, isn't it? If you want to find out more about Gami Chicken, head to gamichicken.com.au. And remember, if you're looking for small business tips or the latest news and expert advice, then you can find them online at koshiesbusinessbuilders.com.au or follow Kochie's Biz on Facebook, LinkedIn, Insta and X. See you next time. Next week on Kochie's Business Builders, how clever ideas help bush businesses find their feet in times of strife. Smart business tips from a successful entrepreneur, plus the AI apps that are taking the heavy lifting out of writing content.